Without any more monsters or any other distractions along the way, Percy made it safely back to Camp Half-Blood. When all three heroes got back, the campers cheered. Even Mr. D was happy to see them. Well, sort of. Later that day, they celebrated with a feast and a campfire. Then a week later, Percy got a letter from his mom. She said she made a lot of money off the statue she made called the Poker Player, and enough money to get a new and better apartment. Also that she found a good school for him, but she wasn't sure if he wanted that or to stay at the camp. She wanted that to be his decision. On the last day at camp, Percy got his first end of the summer bead, which showed he survived a whole summer at camp. It was Poseidon's symbol to show he was claimed to be a son of Poseidon. For once, Percy felt like he had a family, and felt right at home. Grover started to pack up and say goodbye. He earned his searcher's license back after that amazing quest, and was off to continue the search for Pan. Later, Percy looked up at the attic window and thought about the prophecy. "You shall go west and face the god who has turned," which was Ares. "You shall find what was stolen and see it safely return." So he did return the bolt, so that was out of the way. "You shall be betrayed by the one who calls you a friend." And Ares did try to help Percy once before betraying him. "And failed to save what matters most at the end." And that only happened because it really wasn't up to Percy. His mom saved herself, and it was preferring to her to making her choice about Gabe. So why did it feel like something was missing? Percy still hadn't made his decision to stay all year round or go home to his mom. He had to hurry by sundown. Then he decided sword practice at the arena would help clear his mind. When he got there, he saw Luke was practicing on dummies rather real violently. When Luke saw him, he stopped and invited him for a walk in the woods. They stopped near a rock, and Luke snapped his fingers, and then a huge black scorpion appeared underneath Percy and crawled on him. "Ever thought about how useless all this hero stuff was?" Luke said. "And the gods used us as pawns. They're all fools. Even Ares was blind to see the true master he served." Percy couldn't believe his ears, but he knew exactly what Luke was talking about. Luke was the lightning thief. Kronos managed to contact him and manipulate him the same as Ares. He stole it on the day of the winter solstice field trip and took it right from Zeus's throne, and did the same thing with Hades' helm. He wanted to start a war for Kronos, and when Ares caught him, he couldn't resist a plan for war. Now the oracle's words came clear. "You shall be betrayed by the one who calls you a friend." Now it all made sense. It was talking about Luke. Ever since they met, all those times he helped Percy, they had seemed to get along just like friends. He seemed like the kind of guy you could trust. Luke summoned the Hellhound, and he cursed the shoes, mainly to pull Percy into Tartarus, if only Grover hadn't been the one wearing them. Then the scorpion bit Percy's hand, and he fell to the ground, and everything went black. Percy woke with Annabeth feeding him nectar. Here he was again, on the porch, healing up, waking up after passing out from being attacked, totally confused and most certainly not dreaming. Percy told them the whole story. Annabeth couldn't believe it. Luke, out of all people, it had to be Luke, the guy who took care of her, stood by her for so long and treated her like family. Then Chiron told Percy that Kronos wants his life disruptive, and when the time comes, Percy had to be ready. Percy felt so frustrated and angry with Luke, but he listened to Chiron, and he was right. Percy was not ready to face Kronos or Luke just yet. Then Chiron left to report the situation to Olympus. Percy still felt a little weak, but he asked Annabeth to walk him to the hill, and Arcas followed them. When they got there, Annabeth saw her family. She wrote to them and asked to stay the school year just as Percy suggested. The two of them shook hands and said goodbye. "Take care, Seaweed Brain," said Annabeth. "You too, wise girl," Percy said. After seeing her leave, Percy started to remember his father's words. "The sea does not like to be restrained." Percy wondered if his dad would even be listening to him, or if he was even really watching him. Then Percy finally made his decision, hoping his dad would hear him and approve. "I'll be back for the summer," he said to his father. "I'll survive until then. After all, I am your son." Then Percy asked Argus to help him pack and prepare for home.